in another room, and they came out and they said, okay, we'll give you some money. So they believed in the idea of American independence, but they were still very conservative lenders. So we're a conservative lender, but our conservatism is based on our underwriting. And our underwriting means that we gather in all the information we can. Like you were saying, tax returns, business and personal. Assets. We look at your credit score. The higher the score, usually the lower the rate. We look at the property. We look at the loan to value. Is it an investment-owned property, or is it a owner-occupied property? Is it a second home? We look at all that. We're lending up to $2.5 million on owner-occupied homes. We portfolio them, meaning we keep them to ourselves. Banks don't make money when you put money in your checking account. That's a liability. That's not our money. Banks use your money to make loans. So that's why we have to do it responsibly. But if we make a loan, and then you're paying us 4.5% on a property we've done due diligence on, with all the experience we have, then that's a good investment for us. So we'll keep it. We're not going to sell it to a place in Orange County or in Las Vegas or in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey. We're going to keep it. That's what the term portfolio means. So we'll keep it in-house. That's how we make money. We would prefer to make more portfolio loans than government-sponsored Fannie Mae loans, but we will make those loans, and we'll do full underwriting. So I do have customers that have never experienced full underwriting. So it's interesting to me, because they say, why are you asking for all this information? And I simply say, if somebody came up to you and they asked you for $10,000, would you just say, oh, sure, here you go? Or would you want to know as much as possible? We're not interested in your private life. We're not interested in your transaction. We're not going to comb through your checking account and go, wow, this guy goes to McDonald's every day, and he goes to Rusty's, and he goes to In-N-Out Burger, and he goes to High Time Liquor. We're not doing that. All I do. Seriously, we're not doing that. We're not there to make moral judgments. We're there simply as, does the person's cash flow, employment, assets support the loan request? That's all we're trying to do. We want to make the loan according to our guidelines. And we've liberalized our guidelines a little bit. We lowered our rate just the other day on a portfolio loan, 4.5 to 4 3/8. So that was a big concession. So we're here to help you as much as possible. We're a very, very wealthy bank, because we didn't lose it in the crash, in the financial collapse. But we're very conservative. We're customer oriented. We can't do everything. That's why it's good to have outside people that you can refer business to, and we can't take anything back. If I refer a job to you, I can't take.
We're neighbors. I can walk down the street and give you your iPad.
We'll go to Starbucks and have double espresso. But can't take any money. That's because we're under the feds, FDIC.
Right.
And boy, are they tough.
So is there anything else I want to say here? Do I have any questions?
Yeah,
Yes.
we had you in, I guess, a year back or 6 months, whatever, on the green stuff. Was there ever anything changed from then to now as far as loaning to people for solar installations or wind farms or anything?
We have, on a large scale, our bank does solar lending. We actually funded for the Santa Barbara Housing Authority in Lompoc for the low housing in Lompoc. We did that loan up there. We did a large project, I think it was Northern Cal, for a farm up there. We've done a large project for that.
That was a solar farm?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Solar farm. We've done the wind sure where it was located. My office was one of the first that had the charger for the cars
Right?
in our area. So,
Yeah, you can charge your Nissan Leaf
Or the
or
Tesla
your
Roadster.
Tesla.
I
Right.
think I've seen some Teslas in the parking lot before.
yes. So it was one of the first ones in our area. Actually, one of the first ones, yeah, as from here to Los Angeles for county areas. Now they're getting more, the county is getting more in, but we went first.
Did you get any Nissan Leafs for your staff employees at Rabobank yet?
I don't think we'll
I
go
didn't
that
have,
far. So, and our leasing department does solar leasing on the commercial side for commercial buildings. I did my first loan for a car wash in Lompoc for one of our customers. So we did that. So we are entering into that. But I think it's the customer is going to have to decide on whether it's going to be feasible for them.
So you're loaning to large corporate entities and commercial institutions for the solar energy. I'm curious what their loan value is, and then do you do it for residents, for private individuals?
Only in the sense if they want to, it's not considered a solar loan. It would have to be like a homeowner equity type of loan. They would have to go under
So
that.
for the private
because-
entities, how much, what loan value do you guys do? I'm just curious. Like if I want to put in $100,000 worth of solar equipment in my car wash, you lend them the whole thing, or?
It would depend on the cash flow of the business. It would have to cash flow. Because like the.
You look at it as a commercial loan then?
Yeah, we would look at it as a commercial loan, but also the state and even Lompoc City reimbursed.
Oh, they'll
Incentives.
subsidize.
They
they'll
subsidized
Incentives.
incentives, so the return was really great.
I bet.
So.
I envy you
they were-
commercial loan people.
So they were able to do it.
This is kind of a side topic, but I'm kind of interested in the market forecast for that town, Lompoc. What's it look like? Because I know they took a dive.
That I don't know, because since I'm not up there.
Okay, I would figure that
I'm privy
if
to
you guys did your market research, you kind of have an idea in terms of lending.
I have no idea.
There was a lot of subprime activity up there by Deutsche Bank, Citibank, other banks. A lot of those houses are upside down, but the government has stepped in with HARP 2. So even, if the customer has been making the payments and they haven't declared bankruptcy, there's a possibility that they'll be eligible for a HARP 2 loan. Remember, those homes up there got up to $450,000, $500,000. So people weren't thinking about supply and demand, because you can build forever up there, right? Take away the seed fields and just keep building houses and houses. What interested me about the housing collapse was Harvard, Yale, Princeton guys that I don't understand how they thought it would go on forever. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, because I work for Citibank.
Dollar signs.
And they're fine people at Citi, but some of the senior executives, I don't know what they were thinking of all these major banks. You
Well,
wonder.
I think the politics got stirred into that too.
You bet.
Well-
Politics with dollar signs.
Bubble by design and the Community Reinvestment Act would open the doors in 1998, I think, Clinton.
We're straying into
But
politics.
CRA is good because they don't do subprime
Right.
pushing of big banks. That was Obama's job. Before he got in the Senate, Obama represented for a law firm that would go after banks that were not issuing subprime loans and say you're discriminating to the betterment of the communities of America. You need to start doing stated and subprime, NINA, SEVA, stated income, stated asset loans. If not, we're going to sue you because you're discriminating. Okay, we'll do it. And then everybody started lending free money. No offense to Obama supporters.
Not us.
But no, that is a true little-known fact you won't see on CNN.
Yeah, but bipartisan, they would mix in too. It was a bipartisan.
True,
Yeah.
yeah, they're all
Yeah.
crooks, Be healthy, be in love, live life, make good money, be happy.
The housing,
That's all you can do.
housing is 25% of our overall economy. So if your housing, if that part of the economy is depressed like it has been, as it shrunk, that means you're dropping a lot of jobs. And we went from 13 trillion aggregate income in our economy down to 11. I told my students, teach macroeconomics at San Marcos High School. When you drop 2 trillion out of your economy, that's going to have a huge impact. So when housing got up to 30–35% of our overall economy, we've been tracking that for years. That was a danger sign. That was a red flag that was going like this. But we were all caught up in it, right?
Any more questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I need some flowers up here.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, before we get Craig up here, I just want to do one little plug. I don't know if anybody saw this sitting out there. This is a far infrared heating panel. Okay, so we had somebody come in and speak about a while back. So it heats your body, not the air, cuts your cost, the energy. This is all the stuff that's coming up here. In time, we may see these eventually at some place like Home Depot for $50. I don't know, but right now, you know, they're a couple $100 if you want something with nice pictures on it. There's hundreds of pictures you can get. So, and we are looking for dealers in the area. So if anybody's interested in being a dealer, making some money, or using these panels, get back to me. We've got brochures out there about that. Personally, I think it's wonderful. It feels like the sun is shining on my back. You know, when I've got it in my office, it's clean, it's healthy. I'm using propane. Imagine spending $600 a month to heat your house with propane compared to something like this. So, got stuff out there. Get back to me if you're interested. I want to thank Craig Malton for coming here to speak to us. He's going to be our next and last. Okay, so thank you very much. Using my computer or
No.
You're fine.
No,
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a comedian, you don't want to follow Johnny Carson. If you're a singer, you don't want to follow Frank Sinatra. And if you're a loan officer at a meeting, you don't want to follow Brandon Hawkinson.
No.
I mean, that was, I mean, my God, it was awesome. Yeah. Basically, I'll just touch on some things that weren't talked about possibly. What we, and all the stuff that Brandon does, I do too, but probably not as well. I don't have a thing up there, but the out-of-state lending and all those things. And it's a wonderful platform to have. And the banks, the Wells Fargo's and the cities and the Rollos have their stuff. But mortgage brokers, bankers are an excellent source for investors and realtors. So what I try to do with my company is actually help real estate agents sell more properties by way of certain loan programs that a lot of lenders excuse me, may not have. The company I work for is First Mortgage Corporation. They're licensed in 8 states, and they have probably what Brandon has too.
They're a great bank. I've
Is
heard
that-
of First Mortgage.
So they have a, come on.
No.
Get out your thing.
Hold on, FM, when I talked about liberal banks that'll do things that a lot of other banks won't do, FM, I call them FMC, First Mortgage Corporation is one of those places.
So
I've been able to get a lot of people.
Who's got the better connections to the FMC?
Him.
So,
No, I don't know who does more volume, but it doesn't matter. People qualify or they don't. The loan officer can
It's all
start.
about the numbers.
But yeah, FMC is a strong lender that will allow people to get FHA and conventional loans that other banks will not issue, period.
so what they have is a program called California Access Program. In the California Access Program, you can buy a home for $300,000 with only $1,500 down. So what I do is help realtors and their investors, after they've acquired a property or a realtor's listing a home, is to help them sell a home, rather than having, like most lenders, I'm not saying Brandon, maybe have a handout, what can you do for me? My attitude is, what can I do for you? Put together flyers, mailers. I have a radio show going in the Oxnard area to where we had a Hispanic radio announcer, saying you can buy a $300,000 house with just $1,500 down. Got a bunch of calls, we got several escrows going. Those borrowers that called in on that radio ad, we gave back to the realtors. They ended up selling them a home. That's an FHA program called California Access. Brandon's got it through First Mortgage Corporation. So we assist realtors in how to market that home with only 0.5% down. The Santa Barbara market may not be the market for that. SoCal, Northern California, Las Vegas, Oregon, Washington, they're in 8 states, I believe. Oddly enough, there's some customers that might be looking at a house for $500,000 or $600,000, may only have 0.5% down. We have some deals going in Westlake. A gentleman bought a house for $700,000. He decided to put down $3,500 and he made $12,000 a month. So the listing agent called me and said, well, why is this guy only putting down 0.5% if he makes $12,000? The guy paid off $50,000 in credit card debt. So there's a lot of different ways that we help the realtors in structural loans. Is everyone going to want that 0.5% down program? Maybe not. The rate's a little bit higher. The interest rates are running about 4.25 on that program, which is still a really, that's a smoking hot deal, huh?
Yeah.
Only $1,500 down. Yes, 3.5% down, you can get 3 1/8 or 3.25. So, you know, that's a good platform for us to help to put together sales for our realtors. For any of you investors that are also buying homes, you may want to think of that as a marketing plan. On the back end, when you get ready to sell the home, putting together some marketing pieces, your advertising neighborhood or whatever you want to do, media, that says, hey, buy this $300,000 home for $1,500. The phone will literally ring off the hook if you do any type of marketing, radio ads, media. Little known program, not for everybody, but it's out there. It's one of the things that I thought of when Brandon was up there. It's about all he missed, really. And he didn't really miss it, because if you would have had another couple hours, he would have gotten into it.
But you're 100% right.
You know, so it's that kind of thing. What we try to do is help the real estate community, and it works really well. As far as the other things that most loan officers have, the 80% non-owner occupied loans in all 50 states. The investors can acquire a home, I believe, if they pay cash for it, like on your program, you rent to, what's it called?
Rent ready, 20
Rent ready.
right?
So if you're putting up 20 or 30 or 40 and buy some properties, was it 6 months you can get cash out after a refinance on a non-owner?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you want to take your cash out, you'd have to wait for 6 months. So we can assist you that are, you know, investors, possibly getting some cash out of the property after 180 days if you want to. Maybe if you're happy with Dan, you can give him some more money and go buy something else. If you're not happy with him, then
I'm doing something wrong.
yeah, you're doing something wrong. Basically, I think that's all that's been missed. The private money funds, for those that don't want to go through the rigors of applying for a home loan, it's a pretty rigorous process. Like, you know, I forgot your name already. Brandon, I'm sorry. I knew that. You know, there's a laundry list like this. You don't want to do that. You can get private money, put down 30 or 35%. Go ahead and get some quick money. The rates are high, the points are high, but if you can afford and you're not scared to go through the paperwork, we can, you know, get you some pretty good money. Non-owner rates are, what, 3 7/8, around 4%.